See if anyone pops in. If not, I will just speak in a few minutes. Bit of a rainy day today. So I was just before I go through a little bit of this, last night I went to read my book. All good intentions to read a bit more on Dianetics. And then John Maplin came on off Project Camelot Network TV. I always get mixed up with how you say it. So I watched him, and he actually shouted my name out a few times, which was quite funny because I was one of the few that were in there at first. And it just makes me laugh because I'm sure Daddy Dragon said this. They go to read my name, and sometimes it ends up Dolly Dre Dream, which I think he said at first, or one time, which was quite funny. But I shouted out that I was just about to read this because it was through John Maplin off Camelot that I ordered this book, this specific book. And he said, as I commented, and he put it up on screen, he got hold of his book and he said, this is one of the best books that can help you also if you have depression. Now, there's lots of people who've texted me and commented and said, oh, that's like Scientology and that's not good. Well, just like John Maplin said, which I can see that as well, they put that out in the media to say it wasn't good and it was this, that and the other, and it was a cult and a blah, 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 to take people away from it because it was going against sort of like Big Pharma, because like most of us know, you can heal yourself. So far what I've read, there's nothing evil in it, there's nothing bad in it, and I don't take people's first word of something of like, I've learned this with Q, oh, I think it's this, you shouldn't read it, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm going to read it myself. Hey up, Mimi, I'm going to read it myself to see what I think, because from reading the beginning of it, I can tell sort of what it's about, and it's my sort of thing. So, yeah, it says Dianetics reveals the single source of pain, unhappiness, and self-doubt in your life. The reactive mind. This is what I was talking about the other day, when you're overthinking stuff all the time, and shows you how to get rid of it. So I loved John's chat last night. He was talking about he was talking about a film that's going out that I shared, and he also, what did he mention? He also mentioned, about being immortal and stuff like that. It was just great, and I think I really need to email him. I'd love to get on Camelot, just like, because he was talking about, being immortal and do people believe in spirit and this, that and the other. And I did put another Rob video up last night because I do believe that's like a magnetic source, force, life force, light, energy, consciousness, whatever. But so I watched that, and then Laura Eisenhower did a really, really good video with, I can't remember what his name was, but it was about the whole thing we've been talking about, sort of like law of attraction and all that sort of stuff, and how the universe knocks you on the head when you're not listening. And that's normally why you end up in funny situations, or what you'd perceive as the bad situation, which is what's going on in the world right now, perceiving it as really bad, which, yeah, but it is a big knock on the head for the rest of the world to wake up. This is why we're going through the process we're going through. That's what I believe as well. But I think the last video Laura Eisenhower just had up with some guy, can't remember his name, was really, really, really good. So that's worth a watch. Also, I thought this morning even the Q thing might be a con job, just came to me. No, it's not a con job. I've been on it since it started. It isn't a con job. You can tell it's not a con job, and that's the thing I'll be shouting out in a minute with people who say it's a psyop and this, that, and the other, are the people who don't research it properly. Not a can hardly be a con job if it took me to enlightenment and stuff. It's not a con job. That's one of the things I'm going to bring up now. So I watched Charlie Ward this morning. He had a guy on called Drew Miller, which when Drew Miller was talking, you could say they're a bit of geezers, from London, but they were talking about, sort of not doing well at school. You didn't really need, because we know we don't need a lot of stuff from school, but walked into certain jobs and grafted. And it was just a good, because I know about this, some people don't. I knew the Beatles were not what people thought they were. And he was just talking about how he went into work and then he went working for clubs and then realised there was these rooms that you go in that were a bit. Oh no, he said he first started off selling paintings or something, and it was for the Rothschilds, well, them sort of people, the Rothschilds, and knew that said the paintings when he was 16 or something. These paintings were a bit satanic, and he knew they weren't right. But as a kid, getting money, you don't really like I don't know, that sort of thing. And then some more things added up, joining the dots. And then when he was working in clubs and doing things, he realised there was these rooms that had, I would say, young girls in that were not over the age, they were younger. Now, Brian Harvey has talked about this, and a lot of us know who have followed what Brian Harvey was bringing out, said about the red rooms. Now, this is what this guy was sort of saying. And he was talking about Top of the Pops and how they wanted girls on there. We all know why. How people like the Beatles were manufactured. They weren't these people from a hometown, blah, 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 which adds up because John Lennon was in Q. As I think he tried to speak out, especially with his song All You Need Is Love. And if people don't believe that, you need to do your research, because when you go and look at the album covers from years ago and certain pictures they did, it was all satanic, Illuminati, with babies, dolls acting as babies with blood on them. All these things that people go, oh, that's very artistic. No, it's not artistic. That isn't art. That isn't art. Yeah, I already know that about Steele, and that's why I say certain people on his show that I don't resonate with. Most of us are not into Steele. Said that before, but it doesn't mean just because you have certain people on your show. But like I've said, not into Steele myself, but there you go. Some people know stuff, some people don't. Maybe some people just a bit oblivious to other stuff. But they also said how people tried to talk out, like Jill Dando. We know Jill Dando tried to speak out about what she knew was going on behind the BBC and stuff like that. And obviously, we know what happened there. Also, Princess Diana. And the royal family, people are going to have a big meltdown if you're a royalist. That's what they were saying on there, but I've never liked them anyway, ever in my life. I just thought, if you're a royalist, you're going to have a problem with truth coming out. And mentioning the whole thing about the trafficking of children. MSM don't stand up for that. There's not really that many stars standing up for that. They'll go on about this virus, and he even talks about a virus on there, saying about how he went into beekeeping, this Drew guy, and knew that you can't catch a virus, that has to be in your water or your food or whatever. So it was just a really good chat that they did. I think it was this morning or 17 hours ago when I looked at it, 17 hours ago. And he also said that he was into Q and got into Q because he knew things back when, like Charlie says he's known things from the past because of where they've worked and who they've been around. Obviously, they knew this, but when Q came out, he's also on Q and knew this, and then talking about things. I think he does it on Facebook. So there was all that, which was good, because most of us know about, why they would have gone after Diana, why they went after Jill Dando, why they would have wanted young girls on Top of the Pops. Can't think why. But yeah, it was just a good little interview that they did. For the people who are not aware of this, a lot of us are aware of that. And like I said, with the whole Beatles thing, you can go back and do the research on their covers and certain pictures and stuff, all, Illuminati stuff, farty, as I like to call it. But what I'm saying is, the title is, it's not a conspiracy anymore, is it? Is it? All the stuff that so-called people say that Q's a psyop and it's a conspiracy theorist-based thing, which the news are trying to say it is, well, that's a laugh, isn't it? You're starting to see all this stuff come out, like even Drew Miller was saying about the Pizzagate thing. He knew that when that came out, everyone thought it was, it's a conspiracy. You're starting to see that come out. Why are the MSM not covering it? They poo-hoo it like they're not talking about child trafficking. It's not a conspiracy. The word conspiracy was made up by the CIA years back to make people look like nutters. So, this plan's been in for a very long time. Very, very long time. Like I said, JFK tried to get it out back then. Some people say they believe Donald Trump was acting in the 1980s. So, and Drew, what I liked as well, Drew, this is what I say, go and do your research, people. Drew, hi Laurie, Drew Miller was also saying about how he followed Trump years ago and how he was not in awe of him, but like, oh yeah, what is this guy doing, like, back in the day in the 80s? What is he doing? Like, you know, the mainstream media still then didn't really like him that much. And like when he had The Apprentice, you know, the way he is and what he was doing, he was like interested. So when he came up, obviously in 2016, it was like, wow, you know, because Trump knows a lot of things. He's genius. He's not stupid. He knows about universal law and stuff. You can tell. You know, and actually did the homework on that. I did the homework on Trump. And also saying that the media lie about him. We all know that. So when people sit there watching the news thinking he's saying this, that, and the other, yeah, the fake news Democrats will. And another thing I liked what he said was, you've got to remember the Democrats versus the Republicans, and the same over here, is there are good people in the Democrats and there are not so good people in the Republicans, vice versa. There's good and bad everywhere. So that's why they were sort of saying they don't need anything. It might all fall down when this thing comes out, you know, near November with the election, because it like Charlie Ward has said, which I believe, it's not Democrat versus Republican, it's evil versus good. That's what it boils down to at the end of the day. That's what it boils down to, because there will be people who are Democratic and have just been hoodwinked, obviously brainwashed to believe what they're seeing, and when they start to wake up, it's like, oh my god, you know. So, you know, we sort of all know that. Well, yeah, but like I keep saying, I don't talk about the digital currency and the money thing all the time. That's all people seem to go on about at the minute. I mean, yes, I do believe that it'll come in and it'll be great, but it's not a thing I go on about because that's less important at the minute. Yeah, the plan. So it's just great that there's a lot of people out there now who are starting to see it's not a conspiracy. All those things you said were conspiracies. It's funny that, because a lot of people are talking about it. So yeah, and I just say, don't worry about stuff. You know, oh, is this going to happen? Is that going happening? Just be happy that things are happening, especially for the kids, and the world's waking up, because then when it does, things do change and things will change. We can't have the same as what we had before, because it's not going to work in a world where people are awake and, you know, wanting new solutions and ways to stuff. It's not going to work. They're seedy little games. Yeah, but Mimi, can you just stop coming in with your negativity when the massive powers can kill anyone? Know your true power. When people wake up, they're the 1%ers. And if you're into Q, you'll know that doesn't sound like you are, or you may be new to it. If you actually go and research from the beginning, you'll see what's in control. This is all being played out like a big movie for the people that are sleeping to wake up. Those who are awake are watching it, not in fear, watching it. Yeah, you can get caught up in the crap, because if you're in the wrong time at the wrong place shouting out and being violent, then, you know, I'm not saying they're not still chucking the crap out, because they are. Hi, Jeffrey. So yeah, this isn't just a thing about all that going on. It's about you yourself, as in, I don't know if it was Charlie Ward today, or no, it wasn't. It was Laura Eisenhower. The guy was on there. I've said this before. When the world wakes up, the world will have to take responsibility. Well, no, you can actually do stuff as well. Actually take responsibility. This is what it's all about. When you wake up in a spiritual sense, you need to start taking responsibility of certain stuff, you know, and that reflects out in the 3D world. The world's going to have to take responsibility for what's been happening, because we've all been a part of it. Like I said, you can't just brush it under the carpet. You know, if you're looking at your life like, why me, take responsibility for it. Take responsibility for the decisions and the, you know, the that you made. It's not anybody else's fault. It's you. And a lot of them are made out of negative, lower vibing decisions, and we've all done it, because we've all been, you know, distracted or thought we had to do something because that's the way society have taught us. Yes, we've been hoodwinked, but we still have to take responsibility. These big corporations and stuff and mainstream media are not taking responsibility. They are not talking about child trafficking. Why? We know why, but why is it not being talked about? And they need to be held responsible, and they will be, and they are doing. that is falling down. They're just giving them the rope to hang themselves with, and they want the world to see. So to wake the world up, they're going to see, because they're starting to see. Us lot, we're watching. It's brilliant. Yeah, you obviously don't understand what's going on, Mimi. Talking about JFK Jr. They have took millions out over time. It's a little bit different now. When you've got a good power in, when this has been in for a long time, it changes. That's why people are talking out. Oh, I can tell who you are. Is it Mark? Because that's who you sound like. Ugh. See, but that's doom and gloom again. Doom and gloom, doom and gloom, doom and gloom. That's how I see it, as doom and gloom. Don't have faith. Sorry. Yeah. I can tell by the way you talk. It's ridiculous. It's not JFK though. Yeah, but it's a different thing, isn't it? JFK had faith. He didn't know how deep it was. But like I say, people who talk like that don't research. Looks like you're trying to, because I've seen you in other places, but don't research with what's going on. So like I said, Charlie Ward was really good. Of course, you have to keep the faith, Jeffrey. You know, there's no point. It's called a high vibing consciousness. You can clearly see, and just like the guy said, Drew Miller, he was really good, because they've seen them things. They've worked around those people in London. We all know what London is. Do you know what I mean? So they've seen that all going on, just like Brian Harvey talked about that, and they wanted to pull him down, say he was this, that, and the other. He'd seen them rooms. So we all know that's going on. It's not a conspiracy. We know about the artwork. That's not a conspiracy. It's out there. It's out there, and it's disgusting when you look at it. Me and Roxanne did a show where we showed some of that work in the swimming baths and that, and it got taken down. So yeah, the stuff they're trying to hide, it doesn't really matter, because it is all coming out. High fox acid. So you know, and it does all take you back to God source, you know, whatever you want to call it, God source, omnipresence. It does take you back to that. It does take you back to realize your power is very strong, and having that, I don't even like saying the word faith, belief, whatever you want to call it, in that is a very powerful thing. That's why I enjoyed John Maplin's chat last night. It was great. I'm gonna have to email him. I want to go to that castle. But yeah, like I said, there's a lot more beyond that. This is just the movie being played out to wake the people up, the sleeping people, and then they'll have to take responsibility, like most of us have when you go through a dark night of the soul, when you have to look at your shadow self, which a lot of us have done or still doing or will still do, because sometimes there's things that are still stuck and they come up, and you just have to take responsibility for it, look at it and let it go. You know, I'm happy with what's going on, though it seems like there's shitty things going on. Hi King, because you can feel what's coming. It's a knowing. Can't explain it. It's just a knowing. You know. And you know, most people I watch now, and I've narrowed it right down, they're all talking about that, and even the spiritual people who never used to talk about it before know about Q. They talk about it. I come across people who talk about Q because they know what it's a part of. They know it's part of a great awakening to wake the world up, because it's time. It's time. It's time to get people back to themselves, just like we're all in lockdown, and that's been making people see what they really are and what they need to get rid of, and addictions and things that they need to get rid of, and look at yourself, and you know, keep working on yourself. That's what it's about. I'm not in fear. I'm quite happy with what's going on. I think it's absolutely amazing. I used to wake up at the beginning of it thinking, oh my God, I can't believe where we're at. Like, what's this world? Now I think, flipping heck, it's like amazing. I know we've had all this stuff, but it's just like in the Laura Eisenhower video. The universe will keep knocking on your head to wake you up. And until you do, it will keep giving you situations that might feel painful or traumatic or bad, but it's not. It's the universe trying to wake you up until you take responsibility for your life. So there's no point sitting there going, my life's this, my life's that, where. That's you. You've got to take responsibility for your life, the people you're hanging around with, the things that you do, the stuff that you watch, and so on and so forth. The things that you put in your body, blah, blah, blah. And it is hard. I'm not going to say it isn't, because all those things have been infiltrated, or whatever you call it. And even the spiritual community is being infiltrated. They all say, oh yeah, you've got to be all love and light. Yes, you have, but there's a thing of putting barriers up, and there's also a thing of taking no shit and not burying your head under the sand, which I said the other day. You can't bury your head under the sand. People going, oh, it's just a hologram, it's just this. Well, it is happening, but there's more beyond that, as I always talk about. It would be only right for JFK Jr. to get revenge too, but yeah. So have you seen Laugh Out Loud dolls with the peas on the back of them? I've seen all the the toys that people are putting out, if that's what you're talking about, where you dip them in water and they've got all these not so nice clothes on and stuff like that a lot of parents are finding out now. So, to anyone says it's a conspiracy, it's not a conspiracy. Also, I picked some cards out today. Well, I didn't pick them out, obviously they jump out, but I got for myself, which one was it? Oh, where's that gone? Oh, there it is. I think it was in order of Joan of Arc, Voice of Truth. And it says, stand strong, focus on your purpose, release the fear of persecution and speak your truth. That one, I'm going to sneeze. Hang on. Hi, Mark. And then I got Elmore, yeah. I don't know, probably haven't even said that right. An awakening presence. And it says, the universe is with you. Wear a cloak of protection and love. And then the last one was Lord Ganesh, infinite abundance. Obstacles are being removed. Spiritual support and connections are increasing. Yeah, I'm just reading yours. I think that Robert Kennedy is pretty busy at the moment. Laugh Out Loud, not sure if you read it, but he's helping out big time on the lawsuit versus Facebook. Yeah, there's a lot of people going in after Facebook. There's what's it called? Simon Parkes going after a lawsuit sort of thing with the BBC because they lied about him. We all know what they are. So it is all happening. When you know when to look in the right places and watch the right people, find the right information. I'm not saying everybody has the right people on the shows, but it's for your discernment. You will see what's going on. And you cannot deny, for someone who was just in my chat then, that loads of people are talking about Q now because they know it's real. That person who was in chat just has never believed in it because he fell off it ages ago with something to do with, what was it? The Rothschilds plane crash. Get past that because that was ages ago. Don't mean jack shit now. So yeah. So like I said, check out Charlie Ward's interview we did with Drew Miller, and who was it? Laura Eisenhower's last one, and Camelot TV. Or maybe it's not you in chat, Mimi. I don't know if you're Mark that I know, or if you're just somebody. I'm not really sure. Oh, Amanda's Allotment says hi. Hi, Amanda's Allotment. I can't see you in here, but Mark's just said that you said hi, so I'll say hi to you if you're listening in. And Amanda will know because you went through all that stuff, with the whole, when we were looking at Tommy Robinson and stuff like that, and then you've got like Brian Harvey who was talking out. He was talking about the red rooms. And I don't mean it's Mark. I mean, is it the Mark I know being a troll, or is it just somebody else? Talking about the red room. So like what Drew Miller just said was, yeah, bang on point. They wanted to get out because they realised nefarious things were going on. If you go and listen to the show, he just mentions it, not in depth, he just mentions it. So a lot of people knew about this. Also, Dolly, since you are British, have you seen the movie V for Vendetta? I've seen bits of it, and yeah, we all pulled the V for Vendetta up. I've got the V for Vendetta mask. Yeah, so it's time for the world to wake up, and that's what's happening. Like I said the other day, some people see it as not as a good thing. It's free will. Well, it is free will, but you're going to get shown, and then it's up to you to discern if that's the truth or not. But you still need to be shown. I still free will to take it which way you want and actually do something instead of staying asleep. Probably a lot of people who want to stay asleep. Well, it's happening whether you like it or not. It needs to happen. because I think we've all had enough of this. I think there's people in the past who had enough of it. I think there's people in the past that aren't here now. I think there's people in the past that have taken their lives. I think there's people in the past that have been murdered for knowing this. Would, you know, be watching now like, yes, it's actually happening. We have had enough. And there was a cartoon put in a newspaper ages and ages ago of the Illuminati, or whatever you want to call them, whoever, farty donkey, playing the chess game on, you know, someone's back. A normal person said the only thing you have to do is say no more. Well, when people wake up, you're telling me they're going to want more of this. You're telling me they're going to want to be lied to. You're telling me they still want kids to be child trafficked, this, that, and the other. No, I don't think so. And if you are one of them people, then there's obviously something seriously wrong with you. And just like Drew Miller said in the chat on Charlie Wood, you know, a lot of these people, they go after the money, and then really after that it's the power. That's why they do these things. So and they have drugs and stuff. We know about adrenochrome, and then they want more and more highs of different things, and they do this stuff and just become unhuman, if they ever were getting themselves in those situations. So yeah, so like I said, I'm gonna go check out Laura Eisenhower, Camelot Network TV, and what was the other one, Charlie Ward, and I'll see you later. Bye.